Are you itching to start your own business but not sure what direction to jump in from? Stick around for our top 3 tips on what you should do before you take the leap. Here we go. What's up everyone? Welcome to our channel where we talk about every possible way to take your time back and make each moment a great moment. So what I've noticed in the last year or so when I talk to other people about what it's like to be a small business owner is that people get a glint in their eye and they say, oh my God, I really wish that I could do the same thing. I want to walk away from my 9-to-5 job and have my own business, have my own freedom, be able to work for myself, set my own hours, and all the usual things that we hear. So I really personally believe that every single one of us is set out to be a business owner, but there are a couple things that you should be doing before you even embark on that journey to make sure that you are successful at your first business. I don't want to see any of you guys failing at 9 businesses and being successful on your 10th one. So let's set things up right so that you can be successful right from the beginning. So in honor of leap year this year, we are going to teach you 3 steps to take before you take the leap. Here we go. So step number 1 is to assess the situation. So this is the most commonly overlooked step because people think that it's not really necessary to think about where they are right now in the present state and instead just start dreaming big to the future state. While it is great to dream big in your future state, of course you have to take a minute to look at where you are right now and make a mental list to yourself and ask yourself, what are the things that I like about my present situation? And what are the things that I dislike about my present situation? So from those 2 lists, you will be able to better shape and craft what future state it is that you are looking for that will bring you more happiness and more freedom to your life. Now there's many benefits to having a 9-to-5 job. People who start businesses don't necessarily hate their 9-to-5 jobs, but they often find things that they like and dislike about it. So you need to be able to know what those things are so that you know what you're working towards. Assessing the situation also includes taking stock of the resources that you have in front of you. Now if you've seen our other YouTube video, which you can find here, then you can go and have a look to see how you can map out goals. And in that video, I talk about how you should always map out in front of you the resources that you have that are physical resources, human resources, and financial resources. Now, if the business idea that you're thinking about requires a lot of startup capital or a lot of seed funding to go ahead with, then you really need to assess your current financial situation. Similarly, if you're working towards a business idea that would require a lot of human resources or physical resources, like possibly a plant or a factory or land or a building or a separate office, or you would need partners or staff or employees, you really need to know sort of who is in your circle, what is in your sight, all within the present state, and then start thinking forward towards mapping out your future state. Now, the second important step to take before you think of taking the leap is to do your homework. Now, this is the step that people hate to do because social media has really glamorized the idea of having your own business and of being a business owner. So every time you open up Instagram and Facebook, you see pictures of very, very gorgeous looking people standing in front of their beach house and telling you about their 6-figure income that they made overnight with their viral product. So some people do have extreme luck and end up being successful business owners for that reason, but all of the rest of us have to do a lot of hard work for a long time in order to be able to reach those levels of success. So before you even think about starting your own business, do your homework and get a good sense of what business idea you are going after. So that can take months. That could even take years for some people. I encourage you highly to work on it every single day. Keep talking to people who are in the areas and in the field that you are thinking of going into. If you're embarking on a product-based business and it's a product that in fact you might not know that much about, you need to do your homework. You need to know what is involved, what type of capital is involved, what type of resources that you need. Don't think that we just wake up in the morning, take a couple business courses, go to Google and type, how do I start a business? And then just get going like that. You need to spend time, and adequate time, to speak to the right people who are in those industries and talk to people who are a couple steps ahead of you, and do your homework so that you have adequate information even before you start. Now, when you look at the statistics, you see that many businesses fail within their first 3 years. And they don't usually fail because the business owners are incompetent in any way, or because they're lazy, or because it was not a good business idea. Often they fail because sometimes the business owners or their partners were not adequately prepared before they even started the business. They were not fully aware of what they were getting into. Now, yes, I agree that once you actually launch your business, get going on it, and a few months and a few years into it might be when a lot of things are revealing themselves to you. So it's impossible to fully understand the scope of your full business even before you start it. That's absolutely impossible. But you should have done enough of your homework that you have a good sense of what you're getting into even before the business gets off the ground. Now, the third most important step before you even take the leap and start your own business is to map your strategy and plan the first 3 steps. So what does that mean exactly? Now, I've told you that you have to do your homework and that you have to assess the situation. After you do all of that, you need to map a strategy. So without a strategy, there's no plan. And without a plan, there's no project. And without a project, you're never going to have a business. So mapping out a strategy means to spend some time, and I mean adequate time, to sit down and write out or type out in any type of a detailed fashion what it is that you're going to do to get your business off the ground from start to finish. So that starts right from the point of your business idea all the way to your launch point. So it would be impossible for a first-time entrepreneur to be able to map that out fully. But the point is that you want to get going with your action. Now, there's this term that we use in business, and it's called analysis paralysis. And what does that mean? That basically means that you spend so much time thinking about your business, analyzing all the ins and outs, and thinking and ruminating about it, and really overthinking it to the point that you become absolutely paralyzed. And often that happens if you're overwhelmed with information, if you're trying to read a lot and learn a lot about this new industry or this business that you're thinking about. You just become completely overwhelmed with the information to the point that you're paralyzed and actually do nothing. So the worst thing that you could do is to have a great business idea and have a lot of fire and passion for it, and then not actually ever get going on it. So don't be stuck in analysis paralysis. At some point, you have to stop the active thinking and start doing things, which leads me to the second point, which is to plan your first 3 steps. Now, somebody who's thinking about starting a business, they might all have the same first 3 steps. The first, of course, would be to think about what your business idea is, think about where you want to be located, and think about the resources that you would need. So those are the 3 very high level steps that you would take. But then the very simplest steps could be things that you do on a weekly basis or on a daily basis even. That means spending a little bit of time every day reading up on that industry. It could mean going to networking events. If you're a person who's never ever gone to any professional events or networking events, that is a really great first step to take to get yourself into the game, to get yourself thinking like a business owner, get yourself into the environment of other business owners and see what that feels like and sounds like so that you can get into that vibe and start thinking with that same mindset. Those are all initial first steps that you could take. What about researching your business name? What about talking to people about your potential business idea and getting a feel for it? What about talking to people who are already in that line of work and shadowing them or having some type of a meeting with them so that you can get a better understanding of the hands-in? These are all very actionable steps that you should take, and you should map out at least 3 steps. You will notice that once you start working on a couple things and you have 3 actionable steps lined out in your strategy, that you will start feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm actually working towards launching my own business. It's no longer just going to be a thought in your head. It's not going to be something that other people do. Everyone else launches a business. Me, I just think about it. No. Once you're actually in the game and actively engaging in the first couple steps, you will be well on your way to taking the leap. Now, as a business owner myself, what I can honestly say is that taking the leap and starting my business was honestly one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Yes, I was stuck in analysis paralysis for years, not just for days or weeks or months. For years, I was thinking and thinking about my business. Now that I've actually launched my business and I'm working actively in it, I wondered to myself, why did I spend so much time just thinking instead of doing? If I had started doing a lot of these active steps earlier, I would have launched my business long ago. So I really recognize that there is a time in our life for everything. So you may feel like today you would like to change your present situation and look forward to being a business owner. However, that might not necessarily be in your future within the next 6 months or 1 year or even 2 years. So just accept that as a part of your life. Keep working on it. Don't let go of the dream that you might have, and think further on it. Think deeply about it, about how you can get into that industry, how you can connect better in that field, so that one day all the pieces will start to line up. And by that point, you will have done your homework. You will be experienced in active thinking. You will have surrounded yourself with the right people who are mentoring you and encouraging you to move forward with that. And all of those pieces are going to very beautifully line up and help you take the leap. So if you like this video, make sure that you share it with one of your friends who you think is thinking about starting their own business and they're just not sure how to get going on it. You're welcome to download the document from the link in the description below so that it maps out all the 3 steps that I mentioned, and make sure that you give this video a like. See you next time, and remember to make every moment a great moment.